right, thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to EntreConnect. We're super excited to have you here tonight. So first, let's do a quick show of hands. Who is here at EntreConnect for the very first time? Raise your hands, please. Great, we have so many new faces. Welcome, we're glad to see you. And how many of you are founders? Founders, raise your hands. Oh, we have so many founders. That's very exciting. And how many of you are builders? Meaning you are engineers, PMs, researchers. Great, welcome. And how many of you are investors? Investors? Oh, we have quite a few investors. Great, thanks for being here. Welcome to EntreConnect, everyone. We are a global community of founders, builders, and investors, all here to support each other. Our goal is simple. We want to create the most valuable gatherings in the Bay Area with top-tier speakers and high-quality content. Since we launched in 2023, we have brought about more than 15,000 attendees across 35 events. And as you can see, we have more events, future events lined up already in both San Francisco and the South Bay. So if you want to learn more about our organization and our future events, follow us on our LinkedIn and Substack. And if something tonight inspired you, we encourage you to share your thoughts and your takeaways on LinkedIn. After today's event, we are going to select the most insightful LinkedIn post and feature that in our newsletter. And we will send our newsletter to our communities. There are thousands of entrepreneurs and investors. Okay, now let me introduce our partner and the sponsor of this event, Qlay. Please come to the stage. Here.
Hey guys, whoop, my mic is very, very loud, but please excuse me. My name is Tom, nice to meet you. I'm one of the co-hosts of this event, and this is our office, so thank you so much for coming. And I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company called Qlay, and we're essentially the simplest engineer hiring platform, and we're tailoring it for startups out there. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of founders later. The purpose of the platform is that we used to use a lot of Upwork and Fiverr, and it's a very annoying process to find great people. Easier exciting events in late June with different VCs. We're doing a pitch night, so if you're interested, if you're a founder. And July 15th, this is super exciting, but we're co-hosting a podcast kind of thing with Plaid co-founder Zach Parrott. Should be very exciting as well. It's also going to be here, so feel free to register for that event. We're doing a campaign where you go to our website, qlay.ai, Qlay.ai, and if you book a demo call, you will get a heavy discount of 400 hours, engineering hours for free, so feel free to capitalize on that if you are a founder. That's it. I will hand over the mic back to our friend. Oh, okay.
Right. Thanks, Tom. Okay, without further ado, let's kick off today's event with a keynote speech from the CTO of Genspark, which is one of the fastest moving AI native team. In just 10 weeks, their 20-person team hits 36 million in ARR, launched 8 products, and reached over 5 million users. Behind it is their bold philosophy: less control, more tools. Please join me to welcome Kay Zhu, the CTO and co-founder of Genspark.
Hi, everyone. This is Kay. I'm the CTO of Genspark, and I'm very glad to be here to share with you the experience we actually build in Genspark, how we build our super agent. So let me do a very quick quiz today. Any of you have heard of Genspark or have used Genspark before? Please raise your hand. Okay, some of people have used have heard of Genspark, and a lot of people have not. That's great. So it's plenty of room for us. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, what? No, can I make a display? And so is it mirroring? Okay, great, thank you. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. So it seems not a lot of people really have used the Genspark before. So the first thing I will do, maybe let's have a live demo. Let's see what's, finger crossed to see whether it will go good or not. So this is the majorly what we were typing genspark.ai and what you will see. It's our super agent, and you can click through for example, for some of the AI podcasts. Do we have the sound? Excuse me, do we have the sound from it? Okay. Sorry. The HDMI to USB.
Basically unreadable in the
All those screenshots people were sharing. It was like trying to read through frosted glass while someone's waving
AI
colorful
podcast is
stuff
basically
behind it.
generated automatically.
Exactly. But Apple's fixed that now
using
by
AI.
adjusting the background.
And for example, you can find some other AI podcast. Let's see, Jade Jones.
All right, everyone. We're diving into a heartbreaking story from the NBA Finals that really hit us hard. Therese Halliburton's historic run with the Indiana Pacers came to a devastating end in Game 7.
Yeah, this one's tough to talk.
Okay, so basically in Genspark's front page, you can see a bunch of AI podcasts. Also, the AI try-on feature, you can upload your image and we will do the virtual try-on for you. You can see all different kind of stuff. For example, the travel itinerary that we curated, using the Genspark agent. But the major thing you can do is basically type things and ask what we want. Let's do a live demo now. So I'm the first time to go to the EntreConnect event, so I will ask research EntreConnect and make a slide for me. Thing is not defined workflows or using a branch at all. It will spontaneously do the research, search for the internet about it, and then try to decide to use different kind of tool. So now it's decided to use the presentation tool, and then it write out all the presentation outline, and start to write finish the outline and then start to write the presentation. The internet connection may be not that good right now. Yeah. Okay, we will let it to do the writing for a while, and in the meantime I can introduce you more about what Genspark can do. So this is one example that I've already done. Basically, Warren Buffett also have a kind of 6-hour YouTube video, YouTube chat on their annual earning and so on. So I will ask Genspark to fully understand the YouTube video and quickly write a Word document for me. So basically, it will also do the same thing. I just preload the stuff, and it can understand the video, read everything, and generate a page for you. with all the key points listed on the on the page. I can give you some other examples. This is another example that I want to introduce Nikola Tesla to my son. So I just asked Genspark to do some research about Nikola Tesla and build a website for me. And then Genspark Super Agent will just do the research, find the image, and compose a web page. This is what we got. It is okay, but not that appealing. Have almost everything. So I will ask the follow-up question in Genspark to say, okay, make the website a more sci-fi style, add more interactive stuff that will maybe attract my son. This is what you got after this. Yeah, so it's can have flashy effect. Yeah, have some interactive demo, basically the wireless transmission with different power, the AM waves, the FM waves, and so on. Yeah, so my son may be much interested in this one. Also, in Genspark, you can upload your own data file. For example, in this case, basically the user actually uploaded the marketing campaign data file into the Genspark AI sheet. And this is the loaded data file. And you can ask all sorts of questions about the data. For example, the user asked, analyzing the campaign performance, which channel performs best? The Genspark Super Agent will decide to use the Jupyter Notebook to do the analysis. This is the, it start to write Python code to do everything, and okay, start to draw all sorts of charts. Okay. And afterward, you will say, okay, I may be missing some of the correlationship analysis between the content variation count and the marketing effectiveness. Then you can ask Genspark again. It will also still do using the Jupyter Notebook. For example, if it encounter any problem, it will do the pip install and solve rewrite code to solve it, and start to do the more fancy correlationship analysis. Yeah, generate all kind of graphs, correlation matrix, I believe, and so on. And afterwards, as a BI engineers, so normally everybody hates your boss random questions about the data. So you can ask Genspark to say, okay, predict what my boss will ask, and write a report to prepare me for that. So finally, you will got something like this. It is a well-formatted report. Everything is interactive, and we can guarantee all the data and all the insights are correct, because everything is generated by the Python. As we know, large language model often have a huge hallucination over a big data set. However, if you let a large language model to write code and do the analysis for you, the accuracy is guaranteed. At the last part, you will see that it has a section of anticipated executive questions, all from all different angles, and we got you all covered. This is another example. You can also connect your Gmail account or Google Drive account to Genspark Super Agent. For this one, my colleague actually asked Genspark Super Agent to go through his Gmail account, go through all the inbox to see how many people are applying for the product manager. And Genspark will go through everything, generate a spreadsheet about all the applicants. Genspark will smartly put everything in a single consistent table, and you can glance all the applicants very easily. And after that, Genspark will help you download all the resume in the attachment in your Gmail box onto your AI drive, and then you can have all these resumes in one place, and it can help you draft the email response to say, okay, congratulations, and you will have the interview. You will have the further interview, and please reply with your availability. And also for other people, it will draft a kind of thank you for your interest, but be more personalized response. By clicking the button send, this drafted email will actually go through your Gmail and go to the final inbox. Okay, so by the way, today's presentation is also done by Genspark Super Agent. Last afternoon, I just sit with the Genspark Super Agent actually doing the vibe PPTing. So basically, I will tell it, okay, add some image for this on this page, do some change on that page. Okay, let's see how the first one is going. Yeah, this is the first one. So it actually did some research on EntreConnect, write a PowerPoint, and it's like that. Anyone here can confirm whether it's correct or not? Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so there's too much for the demo now. Let's go to share some experience about how we build Genspark Super Agent. For Genspark, we actually position ourselves as the all-in-one workspace. And the vision is very simple. We actually want to bring the cursor-like experience for developers to workspace for everyone. Everyone should be able to vibe working, because everyone is talking about vibe coding right now, but it's a little bit distant for normal people who are not software engineer. You can do vibe PPTing, vibe Exceling, vibe researching, vibe emailing, just like I did. And we launched the Genspark Super Agent this April, and we received a tremendous user feedback. We reached the $10 million ARR in just 9 days, 36 million ARR in 45 days. And after the initial launch, we actually launched 4 products in 10 weeks. The AI personal course, download agent, AI sheet, AI drive, AI slides. I demonstrate some of the features, and you guys can feel free to try on genspark.ai. Let me share some of the design principle for Genspark Super Agent. We called less control, more tools. In Genspark, we actually believe that we need to let the agents plan. Don't hardwire any flows. And also arm the agents with the sharp tools, not rigid rules. If you give a lot of rigid rules to the agent, it actually will lower the capability ceiling a lot. Let's first talk about the less control. In Genspark, less control actually means we discard all our infrastructure about the hardwired workflow infrastructure anymore, and fully embrace the agentic engine. In our definition, the workflow is actually predefined steps, and this kind of predefined steps often break on edge cases. And everybody is talking about agent right now. These days, I believe everybody understands that agent is kind of the plan, execution, observe loop, and backtrack loop. But the most powerful thing actually underlying in the backtrack. If the agent sees some of the condition that it had never seen before, never programmed before, and never expected before, it will try to backtrack and plan again. Then it will normally it will find the alternative way, and it result in much better performance. A good agentic engine is composed of two parts. One is the model orchestration. Basically, you put everything together and make it work. The other is the improvement loop. You need to make everything work better and better. So this is the Genspark agentic engine. We actually put 9 different sizes of large language model together, combine them using the mixture of agent flavor. And also we have 80 plus more in-house tool sets and 10 plus more data sets, which are curated and cross-checked behind the scene. For the improvement loop, we actually do the evaluation very carefully. We use the large language model as judge to rate the entire agent session and attribute the reward to each step. All these learned experience is internalized via reinforcement learning and prompt playbook. So I heard some of the people told me that some of the audience is from the enterprise domain, so I also have a lot of friends working in the startup on the enterprise domain. So we actually have a lot of debate over workflow and agent. Today, I totally agree that more than 80% of the enterprise workflow can be solved very well by the rigid workflows. And the workflow actually have a lot of good things. They are fast, they are reliable, they are well tested. However, since I've been working in the search area for more than 20 years, I see it again and again that the user request diversity will actually explode in the AI area. When the user recognize your product is smart, they will ask smarter questions. They will ask higher questions. So my personal suggestion will be for enterprise, keep the current workflow, let them do the 80% of the work, but route the hardest 20% to agents and watch it grow to 80%. Let me talk about a little bit about more tools. In Genspark, we actually believe that tools are having network effect. As a software engineer, I'm pretty much familiar with the Linux terminal. The part I love Linux terminal is actually the magic lives in the pipe. Basically, you can connect all different kind of Linux command together just using pipe. The first command's output will become the second command's input. By this way, Linux can do a lot of great things in just terminal. In nowadays, the super agent engine is kind of like the intelligent pipe. It can smartly connect all kind of tools you are using and deliver the final result in a very good way, just as I demoed. I also have some of the discussion with my friends. Some of them are kind of a little bit fundamentalism. They believe the purity. They believe that you only need to give agent a keyboard, a mouse, a computer, and everything else is not necessary. But in our experience, it's not that way. So more tools does not mean lower capability ceiling. It's actually raise the capability ceiling. Just imagine you have two engineers with the same skill, same intelligence, one on a blank PC or blank Mac, another with a Mac preloaded with all the work-critical apps. Who will ship faster? Obviously, the later one actually ship faster. So in Genspark, besides the terminal, the browser, the computer, we already give the agent. We also give them 80 plus more specified tools, like the Python tool you guys seen, the slides tool, call maker, Crunchbase API, video generator, image generator, and so on. Every time that each new tools added, actually it enables exponential combos. It results in higher task completion ceiling. Yeah, so for a lot of people working on enterprise, no matter what you choose, workflow or agent, the final performance is actually mainly bounded by the toolset quality and coverage. So the first thing everybody can do is basically audit your stack. Does it enable network effects or does it lead to the dead ends? And design the toolset, have the mindset of the composability, expose very clean APIs, and let the agent decide when to use it and where to use it. Okay, finally, I will give some words on how to build an AI native team. Nowadays, speed is everything. So if you have an AI native team, it will move fastest. In Genspark, we only have 20 people. Everybody vibe codings. Our PM codes, our designer codes, even our CEO codes. More than 80% of the code are actually written by Cursor. And we found that the people with architect mindset actually works better in Genspark team. These days, people are talking about taste, but I don't want to really use the and iterate rapidly. Yeah, that's everything for my talk. We talked about less control, more tools. Small AI native teams move very fast. And please also, if you have chance, try Genspark Super Agent at genspark.ai. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks, Kay. Yeah, thanks, Kay, for the wonderful keynote speech. So we just heard how Genspark grows so super fast with an AI native Lean team. And now let's expand the lens to hear from more builders of their stories of like turning AI agent from a concept into real world impact. So now, please welcome our panelists for tonight. We have Elana Lian, partner of Dell Capital, Kay Zhu, co-founder and CTO of Genspark, Puneet Anand, CEO of AI Mon, Anna Belova, CEO of OpenWay AI, and Tatiana Mamou, co-founder of WayFound AI, and finally our panel host, Sylvia Tong, co-founder of EntreConnect. Panelists, welcome to the stage.
Okay, thank you everyone, and thank you so much for being here. So my name is Sylvia Tong. I'm the co-founder of EntreConnect. Oh, sorry, let me work out. Yeah, I have thinking about like hosting this AI agent panel for quite some time. I'm always thinking about who would be the right person. I think I found the perfect panel. We have people from building from consumer side and enterprise side, and also the investor side. Maybe first of all, maybe I know we already introduced everyone, but maybe like, do you want to maybe introduce what you're doing, what problem you're solving, and also a little bit about your background first? Yeah.
You turned it on. Okay, now we can hear me. Tatiana Mahmood, I'm the co-founder and CEO of WayFound. We have built an agent whose only job is to manage other AI agents and supervise them real time. So we'll be talking a little bit more about this on the panel, but one of the problems that we're seeing is that when companies try to actually put autonomous agents into production, what they actually find is that the bottleneck moves from doing the work to checking the work. So I think what Kay said is exactly right. The code reviews, especially if you're doing things like checking the work of AI agents that are in audit trail if anything goes wrong.
That's a wonderful. Hey guys, I'm Puneet. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO at AI Mon. So personally, my background has been in engineering leadership. I used to work for 7 years in the San Francisco city at a company called AppDynamics. And most recently, I was working for Salesforce there under their MuleSoft organization. AI Mon, we help companies, for the entire AI life cycle, starting with when they're starting out, generating data sets for benchmarking, generating data sets for fine-tuning. We build evaluation models, proprietary evaluation models for detecting things like hallucination or instruction deviation, safety issues, adversarial issues, and so on and so forth. So then you can use those models, which are super low latency, for guardrailing and policy enforcement. So that's a little bit about us.
Hi. Hi. My name is Anna. I'm CEO and founder of OpenWay AI. My background is I'm a repeatable founder. I built a few technical companies. The first was called Devar. We build and create books with augmented reality for kids, and we sold more than 15 million copies worldwide. After that, we launched a platform that called no-code platform for creation augmented reality, and we have 100,000 SMBs and corporates who used our platform. And as internal solution, we recently launched OpenWay, is a growth hacker for solopreneurs and SMBs. Think about it like your AI partner who really not only execute, but really think about how he can grow your business and handle all customer life cycle from first touch to closing deals.
Yeah, so I'm Kay. I just speak it.
Hey, I'm Elana. I think I'm the only representative here on this panel from the dark side, from the investing side. Quick introduction of Dell Technology Capitals. I don't know how much you guys know about us. We are the financial VC for Michael Dell and Dell Technologies. We invest on average 160 million a year. We lead seed, Series A, Series B deals, anywhere from $500,000 for seed round to 15 million for A or B round. Very active investors. 12 years we've been investing tier 1 quartile returns. We had 9 IPO in the last 12 years. We heavily invested for AI from all the stacks, data infrastructure, cybersecurity. We invest in early round of Zscaler. Now it's a $40 billion company, IPO'd. We're still on the board. We invest in MongoDB, Redis, Nutanix, Vast, etc. Very fortunate to be here, to be on with this brilliant panel here.
Okay, perfect. I think we are the people, so like individuals, so excited about like consumer AI. That's the reason Genspark has so much traction. Maybe we start with like more like enterprise or B2B enterprise AI. So I'm going a little bit off the script now, so this question actually not on the list. But I think a lot of people here are founders, so they probably want to know how is the enterprise adoption right now? Like how do people embedding in their workflow? What's the percentage we're looking at right now? And also, what's the bottlenecks?
Looking at me or?
Yeah, you have the mic, so
all right,
go for it.
So yeah, I think we've been building AI for close to like 1.5 years now. We've seen, in the beginning when we started, companies were pretty much just like experimenting with AI use cases. They're trying to figure out, hey, what are the use cases we can add productivity with or build applications with, build agentic workflows with. What I'm seeing now in the enterprise is that, there is progress. Now they have the use cases highlighted. Now they have built some POCs. Now they are getting into like, hey, we're seeing these errors, we're seeing these failures. How do we get past these? How do we actually deploy, take it all the way to production? So, which is like, something that I'm seeing as a trend across various industries. However, last thing I'll say is that there are some industries which are more like laggards and for the rightful reasons, like, healthcare, insurance, for example, always sort of move 2 to 3 years behind all the tech companies, which are like very ML forward.
So some real talk here. If you ask board members, 60% of them will say that they are asking their CEOs about generative AI in board meetings. If you look at the last Morgan Stanley Tech Conference, about 50% of the questions were around generative AI and how enterprises were using generative AI. In reality, when you dig under the surface, the actual adoption of anything beyond a copilot kind of cursor, like cursor is essentially a coding copilot, right? It's not really an agent, right? It doesn't autonomously write your code and check it in, at an enterprise setting. So most people are kind of fudging the numbers, and so that makes it really difficult for startups to understand, okay, where is real traction going to be when we're talking about moving from a POC, because a lot of enterprises are doing a lot of POCs, right? They're experimenting. They want to know what's happening because their boards are telling their CEO, we want to see what you're doing with AI agents. So they're doing these POCs, they're doing these experiments, but they find it very hard to go into production. And the reason why is because as soon as they go into the production, the next question the board is going to ask, awesome, how many headcount did you save? Right? And when that question comes by, you have the AI agent supervision problem, right? Which is people aren't comfortable having these agents just run on their own independently because they feel that they need to be constantly managed and checked. So that is where we see a lot of friction between what the board expectations are around putting AI agents into deployment and what is actually happening on the ground as people make decisions about going from an experiment or a POC into full-scale with the cost savings that the boards and investors are expecting.
Elana, do you want to add perspective from your portfolio company or other founder you talk to?
Certainly. There's definitely a lot of the dollar investment are going to the frontier model. That's non-disputable. The enterprise space definitely is lagging behind. We're seeing, like you mentioned, we're definitely seeing POC, a lot of testing going on. We do see certain area like Windsurf or that side of things. And more, there are certain golden use case in enterprise AI where you can see the ROI relatively easily. And there is a gold mine of data, and you don't need 100% accuracy right away, like in customer success, in sales enablement, content generation, marketing content generation. There's a few fields we do see have more activity going on, are likely to follow in the coding side. But overall, we're looking at 2 to 5 to 10 years enterprise adoption in generative AI.
And do you anyone want to add different thoughts? Okay, perfect. So we know enterprise adoption is still not there yet. So we should jump to the next question, which is how do we solve the problem? I think we have a few people building the company try to solve the problem. So maybe you can give us a few like successful use case you actually already put into production and what they have done and what lessons we can learn from working with those companies.
Yeah, I can start. So there are a few companies now that we have moving from POC into production. One that is moved to production a few months ago and is now onboarding more agents onto Wayfound. So one of the things also is change management. As we sell, we actually have to cross the barrier between the engineering team that's building the agent and the line of business teams that are going to be working with the agents. So one of the change management there is this is not like normal software, because with normal software, the engineering teams build the agent, they do some testing on the agent, they deploy it, they put a little monitoring on it, and then they walk away. This is not like that. Like, this is about actually building a new team member that's going to be on the customer success team, right? And so you can't have the IT team, when they walk away, which they're still going to walk away because they have their next project to move on to, the handoff to the customer success team needs to be, and this is how you interact with your new team member. And so we usually start our conversations honestly with the CEO. That person usually refers us to somebody in engineering, either in product, or in the tech side. They tell us about the agents that they're building, but then we do onboarding and training with the line of business team. And that handoff from moving from tech into the line of business and really empowering the line of business to work with their new AI agent as a team member directly is the key, right, to helping enterprise transition through the change management that they need.
So what use cases are getting popular, getting traction? I think we are seeing a lot of support chatbots. We're seeing different kinds of chatbots. We're seeing agentic workflows being baked into those, making them more powerful so that they can take actions. We are also seeing a lot of text to SQL use cases popping up in the enterprise, and so on and so forth.
I think we can try to think about from a different angle. Because it's well-known information that incorporates people more scared about using AI every day compared with, I know, like founders or independent professionals or creative people. And it's not only about because we don't understand how AI can help, but it's also about what will be if AI replaces me. And I think this is, we can discuss a lot what works, what kind of use cases we have and others. But the best use case when people incorporate truly understand how we can use AI, not just like something that can replace them, but something that can help them to grow in their professional industry. And in this case, I think one of the best scenarios when people really understand, like, I know, like vibe coding programmers or others, how you can say it, it's when people feel that they can be like 10x faster or 5 times faster, and it's not about like someone will replace me, it's about I can have more hours to spend with my family.
Right. And I think you're working with the growth team, right? Go-to-market team. Do
Yes.
you want to give an example, like how can you make them 10 times faster or 10 times more efficient?
It's a good question. So I'm a founder, and I think I'm like, you know, I like AI native founder. I use AI tools from the start, and I have a lot of AI tools in my work. But honestly, the last time I feel myself not like a founder, but like a secretary of AI tools, because all my days, yeah, you got this. Like, and I think everyone feels the same, because everything that I do every day, it's like, okay, I use this agent, and now I use agent, and I need to change my data to this, and blah, blah, blah. And it's so annoying, because from one hand, I'm really effective and faster, but from another hand, I don't have time to think like a founder. I need to think how I can storage and manage my data. So, and honestly, it was one of the reasons why we try to solve this bottleneck in OpenWay, because every founder and every growth specialist cares just only about one thing, how we can get more customers. But it's not about only go-to-market strategy, it's about how we can use all data about my business, my past, my present, maybe my future, who knows, and how we can use all of them to reach and engage our users and convert them into the next step. More interesting thing, it's not only about use some, I know, it's like redefine the sales and marketing process and use not only growth technique that it's well known, but also how our AI can not only execute, but think like our growth partner, and not only use data, but create something new and help me, like for founder, understand what is the next step in my business. And I think this is a really challenge.
Right. So we need a more powerful AI agent. Maybe Genspark can bring us those AI agents in the next step. And I think we talk about like customer support, customer experience, which is one of like very crowded, also like early adopter in AI agent. And Elana actually just closed a deal in customer experience area. So actually I have a question for you. So how do you see the adoption layer, and what's still the technical bottleneck in customer experience?
Sylvia, we really recently led Series B of Maven AGI, $50 million round. In their Series B round, it is, to your point, a really crowded space. And in talking to a lot of CIO, CTO, and CCOs, right, it was very clear there is the fragmented system for the enterprise space is really holding back people from adopting AI. So what we see from Maven AGI is they're excelling with extremely high complex use case, integrating they have an integration-first mentality with more than 100+ integration, and where other systems may need weeks or months to deploy a system to production, they can actually do it in hours and days. They move super fast, integration first. They are security, compliance, very much targeting B2B use case, complex B2B use case, where there's a high regulatory requirement, GDPR, there's ISO, there's SOC 2, and all those compliance, they security first, sort of as at heart of their end-to-end platform. So overall, the 40+ customer use them in production and really love them. We see a tremendous amount of growth.
Okay, congrats. And you talk about one of their differentiators is they can handle very complex use case. Funny enough, yesterday, Decagon, I think everyone probably heard Decagon, also closed a new round at 1.5 billion, also competitor. And they also said they can handle complex use case because they have something called agent operation procedures. So what's your thoughts on that one, or how is your portfolio company maybe do differently?
Yeah, and in these days, I see the market as a land grab market. This is the customer support success market is $1 trillion market. I do anticipate there's going to be more than 1 or 2 success story here. Just use a case in point from Salesforce and HubSpot. Those are 2 very interesting examples. Salesforce is targeting a lot of starting with a large enterprise, where HubSpot is a mid-market. There could be like more than 1 or 2 unicorn in a really ready for AI customer. We're seeing customers are craving these solutions. We're seeing tractions.
Definitely, yeah. I think we definitely, because like they can definitely disrupt the existing players in the traditional SaaS space. I think a lot of people here are founders, so we cannot talk about things founders really care about. Okay, so first thing is like distribution and go-to-market, because all the startup company want to go viral. They want to become cursor. They want to become laughable. They want to like have 10 million ARR just like in few weeks or few months. But distribution has become very hard. And some people say paid SEO, traditional go-to-market doesn't work. Some people trying out the new tool like Hackathon. You can see like building public. So I do want to let the speaker share like your experience with go-to-market. What have you tried? And what worked, what didn't work? And do you have any suggestions for people, the founder here?
Yeah, I think maybe we don't really have a lot of experience to share, because in Genspark we don't really do the go-to-market stuff. You know, all 20% are basically, you know, software engineer. They try to build good product, and all the growth you see in Genspark is basically all on the word of mouth. We don't spend any dollar on the traffic acquisition and so on. So yeah, it's not really a lot to share, not of the experience to share. But the one thing we actually observe is, if your product actually, you know, some of the people love your product, they will give you a shout out in the social network. We often observe that some of the traffic growth is highly correlated with some of, you know, one random Twitter post. Yeah, just like that. So we are trying to, you know, growth in a more organic way, or growth in a more kind of systematic way, and try to grow more.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so for me it's a little tricky question, because I'm currently building Grow Hacker that will help any founder to go to market. But seriously, I think every founder wants to hear, oh, it's organically grow, and it sounds like a magic words for any founders, because be honest, no one from us really don't like to spend time and money to direct ads. But I can share some experiences. So in my previous business, we reached a new daily sign-ups around 2000, and it all was from B2B and different roles like marketers, designers, decision makers, business owners. And it also was like 90% organically grow. But I had a lot of, I had like maybe 10 magic secrets, but I can share maybe a few of them. So the first, it's really hard, but it's really important to understand who is your audience. But I'm not talking about like traditional ICP and others. I'm talking about what kind of tools your audience already use right now. And it's matter because in this case, you can understand what kind of patterns of behavior can be helpful to explain and share with your potential audience. And this is the first. The second, it's not only about like a social media. I believe it, but you know, it's true. It's really hard to manage. But what I believe that we can use AI search, and we can understand and ask AI using some mindful questions, how we can manage when people like your audience ask something, advice in AI, and how you can manage the results of this. And we're perfect that it just started. And from one hand, not a lot of people know how to do it, but from another hand, it's time to inventor, to adapt and make something new. And the third, I agree with mouth to word, it's also a magic word for every founders. And in our case, we have 100,000 founders in our community, but it's community-led strategy driving the world. And it's not only about how to take all your audience and make from one channel or other channel or maybe some platform or social media. It's about accept your product. What can you share with your audience? How it can be helpful? How strong your personal brand on your social media, and people will follow you from your next journey. And if you have a great answer from these great questions, is, for my opinion, just like 90% of results. 20% of work, but 80% of results.
Yeah, I want to add one thing to your answer because it's very inspiring. In Genspark, basically we don't really know how to do the go-to-market. However, we actually observe a very strong correlation. Every time we launch the new feature, and every time the new feature is interconnect with all the existing tools in the super agent, we observe huge increase in the users and also in the users' payment. So that's why we work really, really hard to ship new stuff, give users more functionality and better experience. Yeah, that's something I can add to the answer. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think you asked about distribution and GTM, what's working, what's not, right? I think it's too early for us. We're an early stage company, but we decided to invest in distribution very early on. So for example, we started off as a company that was building ML models for evaluation, for example, for hallucination and other kind of things. So we had an integration going with the likes of Llama Index, the likes of VV8, vector databases, and so on and so forth. So now I'm starting to see some traffic coming onto the website from those sources. It's too early to tell if that translates to business, but that's something that you could use. I think one other thing that I learned was in this day and age of AI, building email outreach sequences, LinkedIn automation, all of that is available to everybody. I really found that we should value face-to-face a lot more and take every opportunity to be in front of people like this, and like any kind of other avenues like dinners, lunches, workshops. That just helps you build a relationship, which you can then cultivate. And I think the last thing I'll say there is, this is something that I just learned in the last 2 weeks or so, which is that when you meet somebody and they want to learn about what you do, I used to be like, we are this and we build this for this, right? What I replaced that with, and I'm finding a little bit more success, is here is a referenceable customer. You don't have to name them, but this is the problem they had, and this is how they went through using us and solving those different problems. So Hope it helps.
So we started early last year in early 2024, and we had a major go-to-market problem, which was we were managing AI agents, and nobody had any AI agents to manage.
Yeah.
So we really had a distribution problem. And so we decided to build an AI agent builder. Some of you guys have tried our builder before we pivoted. Raise your hand if you've tried our builder. I know at least one person has tried our builder.
People are just too shy. Yeah.
Oh, they're too shy. So we really had a great builder for AI agents, and then really the data that you are producing that you can use to build a better product, not necessarily product experience, but actually a better product that's going to add more value. And the third one is network effects, which goes back to the partnerships and the distribution strategy as well. So where we are really focusing right now is first building a lot of amazing partnerships with agent builders. We announced our partnership with Agentforce. Actually, they announced their partnership with us yesterday with Agentforce. Agentforce agents, we are an official monitoring partner. And that means that we can start enabling their sales teams, which is pretty amazing, right? Because now we need to, start to figure out how we're going to be doing that, and finding that those points into how do you build the brand trust in a market that's going to have, you need to assume there's going to be products as good as yours. You need to assume that there's going to be a ton of well-funded startups that are competing with you, and you have to assume that there are going to be a lot of big companies that are competing with you too. And you got to find the way to find those moats.
How did you win the Salesforce Agentforce partnership? How did you convince them? Probably there's other company also want to partner with Agentforce, right?
I'm sure they do. So, I used to be an executive at Salesforce, so that helps a lot. I think it's exactly what you said. Your network, your personal network, showing up, being in the same rooms with people, being in the conversations, drawing on your friendships, and then also, being a good faith player, right? We showed them our product early. They disclosed to us that they may be competing with us in the future. We figured out a way to make that work. And then we created real value in the product that we showed to them, and we convinced two sales teams actually wanted to start selling Wayfound before we even got this partnership off the ground. So actually showing our product to some of their salespeople, getting their salespeople to call their partner marketing people to say, hey, we want to start selling Wayfound was also really helpful. Yeah.
Makes sense. And Elana, do you want to share some go-to-market you learned from your portfolio company? Or?
Great answer.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I think another very interesting part, founder or builder, very interesting is even we have distribution go-to-market, we still need traction, right? We still need the paying customer. And I think before large language model, usually you just need 1 million ARR revenue to raise Series A if you're a B2B company, but I don't think that's true anymore. So what's the new benchmark, Elana?
It's really such an interesting market. What Kay was saying earlier was incredible. How long did it take you to get to 10 million ARR? 9 days. How long did you get to 36 million ARR? 45 days. It's mind-boggling, right? And we also see in Replit grew from 10 million end of 2024 to 100 million in 6 months. And then we know Lovable Boat, but those are more vibe coding, not really enterprise focused. But this world has is changing so fast. And what we're seeing, you're asking the average, the first year AR, I would say probably in the range of 3 to 5, more conservatively. But definitely there's tons of outliers like Genspark out there leading the way.
And how about like, besides the traction, do you guys looking at other metrics? And this also open to other panelists, like besides the paying customer, like what other metric you use to evaluate the success of your company?
Well, again, I'm playing the long game, right? So for us, it's more about we know that there's going to be a war in our space in the next couple of years. Like as Elana said, this is going to take 2 to 5 years to drive the adoption. And so, in our space, we need to be ready to be #1 in 5 years. And that means really building out the ecosystem today, right? And being in a really strong place, having our moats in place, having our strategy in place, and being really smart about our moves is how we're approaching this market.
Tough days, right? Previously, we should have like 10 million ARI. Today, we need to have 10 million ARI just in the days, not years. Yeah, but so, except like with metrics, I think we knew what we have in our mind, what we called how many full work our AI agent can be done. And it's not, I can explain more. So previously, I can say like maybe first generation AI agents cares about how many tasks they can handle. And AI agent in our mind was mostly about helper or assistant. But today, AI agent starting to be like a partner, and agent can handle the full workflow. And in this case, we can't count only how many tasks. We need to count how many full work and what kind outcomes we have in a result. And this is what we measure in our company, because in this case, for us, really matter what we have in outcomes using like a full workflow.
So in Genspark, basically we are looking at 2 major metrics. One is ARR, just as we mentioned. Another is the paid user retention. So combine these 2 is the most core one. And we normally, we also observe all the normal metrics, DAU, MAU, retention, and so on. But these 2 metrics is actually, the most important one. One is whether the user is willing to vote you with their wallet. The second is whether they pay you the first time, do they really keep using you and pay you the second time. So yeah, basically we are closely monitor these 2 things.
Yeah, makes sense. And what you found is most successful to increase the paid user retention? You talk about
adding features and make all these features interconnect. So we are not adding kind of independent features, because independent feature is kind of more like one independent silos. But all the features we added to Genspark is actually interconnected, just as we showed in the demo. So when we launch the AI drive, then the people's workflow will have, download, for example, Mary Meeker's presentation to my AI drive. And then you will see, it's 300 more pages more AI drive, 300 page more slides. So you will ask it, do a quick summarization for me and write a point for 5 pages to give me the the key point of Mary Meeker's point. Everything is connected. Everything is connected when you add more things, and you have the super agent engine, underneath. Yeah, that's what we saw is very useful for, really drive the user engagement and payment.
One of the things I do want to add on, one observation in the market space is historically the successful app, one app have 1 million users, but now with GenAI, we're seeing developers are really looking at developing 1 million app for 1 million users. There's so much personalization. There's people want reliable, high speed, deliverable, but each person got their personalized app. And so I'm expecting new metrics are forming today that we can't articulate yet, but we're seeing definitely new trends are being made.
Yeah, and exactly, I think Genspark has personalized feature, right? I'm not sure whether you show. Do you want to tell a little bit about the personalized feature and what's make that? What goes into the personalized?
I think everybody is doing the personalized feature. So OpenAI have the memory. We also have something like this, the customizable instruct, and also we will kind of also summarize with the user's permit. We will also summarize users' preference accordingly and add it to your personal profile. And then the next time the user uses it, it will feel much more familiar and much more useful. Yeah. So I think everybody is doing this, and all the agents really need the memory. So you cannot be the kind of like people the 50 times which is the movie, the 5th time dating for the first date. Yeah, something like this. Every morning you wipe out all your memory. It does not work.
Right.
Okay, I'm curious. Are you using MemZero or other tools for your memory, or are you developing your own?
We actually develop by our own. So all the agent infrastructure, all the tools, yeah, we build in-house.
I just want to add one thing, which as a founder, I'm looking at also a lot of these, fast-growing, especially like we said, like Cursor, Windsurf, Replit, Lovable. They are all competitors, and yet they all had these like amazing, really fast ARR numbers. One of the things that really concerns me as a founder is, so it's the same thing in design, by the way. Canva, Figma, all these design tools, they're all kind of coming out with these AI things. And right now, on my team, the engineers are using all of them, and the designer is using all of them. So next year, each one of those that are paying for 5 tools or 4 tools, they're all going to just pay 1. So those other 3 or 4 are going to churn. So this is where I talk about switching costs and moats. So what concerns me as a founder is sometime soon, perhaps, we will see, I don't know, people are talking about an AI winter, right? Where some of these numbers are because everybody's trying everything right now, right? And so the question is, which companies, how are companies going to start experiencing churn, and when are they going to start experiencing churn, and what does that mean for the other founders that actually are building products with high barriers to entry and with high switching costs? Because, I'm wondering like how many people are really thinking about those switching costs when they're building their products right now, right? And I don't know, I see that there's, again, it's fine if you don't have high switching costs if you have network effects, because that is a switching cost, right? You lose the entire network of the other people that are on the platform. But I don't know what's going to happen when we start seeing the churn from a lot of these products.
Yeah, I think one small point to add there is I'm looking forward to seeing what Meta does in the coding space, because I know that Meta is basically like self-reliant, depends on itself for all the tooling. So I'm pretty sure they're working on this problem as well. So
yeah.
When they launch the React for version, right? What is that going to do to everybody else?
Yeah, exactly. I think let's come down to like the product experience, right? So actually, personally, I using Genspark and Minus at some time. I run same thing for both and pay both. But which one can give me the answer I want? I will just stick to the one. Yeah, I think that probably will happen in the coding space. Just in interest of time last, I think one thing found also very interesting is the talent, right? So one side, we want to build one person billion-dollar company. The other side, we saw the large company foundational model try to acquire the company to get the talent. So how you guys thinking about when do you guys thinking about to hire a new people, and what's your bar to hire new people as start founders?
I'm thinking about acquiring some companies right now. Maybe Perplexity.
You have a very strong competitor, Apple. Yeah.
So the question is what we think today about hiring people.
Yeah, hiring people, and what's your bar? Like, what's your criteria to hire new people join your company?
I think it's always tricky question for every founder. So I have two different angles in my experience. So the first, I stopped hiring salesperson because today I can use AI, and I have team around 500 AI salesperson in my team, and I don't need to have a human, sorry. But from another hand, we are hiring people, and we change something in our thoughts about it. So the first, we trying to find people who can be ready to change their mindset about using AI. It's not about we use AI tools or not. It's about, do we understand we need to be like AI native person? And it means that for us, using AI, it's not about to find the perfect tools. We have a lot of tools today. It's about, can we describe, like a simple example, can we describe what we want to get? And do we understand how we can train our AI and make it like a personal AI using our previous data, our work, our artworks, if we are designers, our, I don't know, speeches, if we are marketer, and how we use our data. And in our company, we had a tradition, we're writing every year annual letter for team and describe what kind of trends we will have in our team work. And then we're starting in 2018, and the last 2 years, it was two main things. First, we call it personal AI. It's not about how you use AI, it's about, do you understand that it's your main skill today is about how you manage your personal data. Not what you like, not what kind of content you use, but your personal professional data and how you can train your AI to use it every day, make you more effective. And the second, that AI, it's not about tools, it's about mindset. It means that previously we need to try to think out of a box. Today we need to understand how we can learn our AI to think out of a box.
Yeah, so for Genspark, we only have 20 people, and we are slowly growing. So we are not seeing ourselves, for example, grow to 200 people in 1 year or something like that. So we are growing very slowly. So actually we have a very high bar of hiring. And currently we still lean to hire more experienced people, not junior engineer. And for experienced people, basically we maybe favor more about the architect mindset over the narrow specialist, I would say. For the architect, basically you can put a lot of tag on them, like full stack, like big picture, like kind of end-to-end owner or something like that. And for the narrow specialist is for a type of very experienced people working on a very narrow domain for a super long time, maybe 10 years or 20 years. But the technology is actually changing so fast. Everything, all the old tricks, all the old experience got irrelevant pretty quick. I used to work in Google for 7 years. At 10 years, 15 years before, Google have a lot of people are working on, for example, query write or query understanding. We have all different kind of tricks to formulate the relevance between a query and a document. However, everything got irrelevant these days because using the new tech stack, all the old stuff really, does not work anymore. So we don't really favor the type of people who are working on a very narrow domain for a long time, but we really look for experienced architect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how about, I think you mentioned if an engineer looking for a full stack engineer, right? Now how about product designer, PM? What kind of experience will be like architecture?
Yeah,
architecture
I think I just mentioned that one of our PM is actually banned by us, converted him to the software engineer after 2 weeks.
You don't need a PM, sounds like.
After 2 weeks. Yeah, so you will say, okay, in Genspark, the only PM is our CEO, Eric. Yeah, because if we have a lot of PM, they will have different product idea, product favor, or product directions. We don't have that many of people who can adapt to them. So one thing, I actually asked about the PM who converted to the software engineer. His name is Alan. I actually asked him, okay, hey Alan, what are you doing different, today than you used to be? He said, okay, it's quite similar. As a PM, he used to talk to the software engineer to say, okay, what I want, the design requirement or PRD, everything. And then he need to check whether the software engineer build what he wants. Nowadays, the only change is he start to tell Cursor what he wants. And then afterward, he check whether Cursor build what he wants. And it's not that much of the change for his daily life. So yeah, maybe, and the good part is the PM do not really need to actually argue about what to build or what you believe. You just build it and show us. Yeah, so everyone will just can test your demo or test your outputs, and people will see, okay, whether it's good or not.
Just build fast and try a lot of things. Yeah. Elana, do you want anything like, are you a company hiring or what kind of people are you looking for?
From portfolio development, portfolio perspective, right? The funder we're looking for are hustler, people who have people who have a product sense. Then the executive team, there's different function, depend on the stage of the company. Technology-wise, I won't repeat what Kay just said, but in general, once you find that product market fit, then you start to want to fuel that growth. Then that's from the sales perspective, how many SDR, how many customer support, all those ratio and customer acquisition costs. People who actually, in the early stage, it's about hustling, that's stage 1. Stage 2 of sales marketing team is about you have a strategic view. We've seen as we grew company from 0 to 1 to X, that people's sales and marketing side actually turned a few generations from the different stages.
Do you want to add any?
I mean, no, I think as an example of what we were just talking about, we have an amazing ML researcher on the team, and it's just amazing what he can do with Cursor. He's built UI, he's built backend, he's researched, he's done modeling, he's built models, deployed them end to end. So, force multiplier.
Yeah, so if anyone want to join any company here, so you have to be very, very good at Cursor and have to be a journalist to at least meet the minimum bar. So I think I want to open the floor to the audience. So if you have question, just raise your hand. Yeah, and stand up. Yeah, let me give the mic to you.
Yeah, this question's for Tatiana. You talked a lot about critical stages in that sales flow being logo collecting and that enterprise partnership piece. How do you anticipate, what's the thesis between that and the churn problem that you addressed right afterwards? How do those two things relate?
So 2 things. Remember, one, you want to create as many barriers to switching as possible, right? As you develop your strategy, especially in this crazy world where people can raise, you know, whatever, $50 million on a PowerPoint presentation or whatever, or just like a conversation. So you want to create, so one of the things around barriers to switching is how deeply integrated are you in the tech stack? I think somebody else mentioned this already, in the tech stack that enterprises already have, especially if you're selling to enterprise, right? If you're selling to enterprise, it takes a lot of reviews and a lot of time, right, to get any product actually sold through the enterprise. So if you are coming in with a partner that they already know and trust, and you have been vetted by them, their partner, and you're coming in with a solution that is an end-to-end integration already, you now have created a very high barrier to switching for anybody who's going to try to displace you, right? The second piece is trust, right? Again, when you are awash in, we don't have a lot of competitors right now, but we think we will in 6 months, right? We think there's going to be a lot of people who try to copy us. So we really develop the brand trust and the name early, and that's why I do a lot of these speaking engagements, right? Because, you know, I want to make sure that everybody knows that they can trust me, that, you know, we have been building this very, very methodically for the last 2 years, and that we have a really good approach that enterprises trust and that you can trust if you're an enterprise. So that's how we really are putting in the pieces so that every customer we get, it will be very hard, right, to have us, you know, swapped out for some YC, you know, 2 kids dropouts out of Stanford who think that they can do what we do, right? Because we will have those relationships, we'll have that ecosystem, and we'll have the trust. We also got our SOC 2 Type 2 certification before we had our first customer, right? We did that out of the box, out of the gate. And I've got somebody who had a successful POC with Wayfound, which we wouldn't have done, right, if we had not been SOC 2 Type 2.
As a follow-up question on this, how important do you think those integrations will be now that people talk about agent-to-agent interactions or actually aging?
So we have an MCP server. So you're talking about MCP and agent-to-agent, right?
Well, that, or even if the other side, for example, if the legacy platform that you're trying to integrate with, even if they don't have, you know, agent, they don't have MCP, like you can have an agent that just logs in and pull the data that you need and pushes it back.
In an enterprise, if you're going to let in an agent that's going to pull your data, you need to trust whatever is coming into your enterprise environment. Integrate any agent with any tool with any other agent. This is why the product thing doesn't matter anymore. How good your tech doesn't matter anymore. How fast your developers are doesn't really matter anymore. Because you can just assume that we have amazing developers, but I assume that other people have amazing developers too. But what really matters is a company actually going to let your tool, your agent, into their enterprise where it could run amok and do a whole bunch of stuff that will have real security and compliance implications? I mean, look at Air Canada, the Air Canada lawsuit. Look at the, you know, Character AI lawsuit. There are going to be more and more lawsuits around AI agents doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. And everybody is terrified. It's not about building in permissions on the product side. It's about being a trusted partner as a company.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Jay, for Genspark, I have a question. So I assume you already have a platform. So when you have a platform, how do you discover new requirements from consumers? For example, which new agents you want to integrate into your new platform? So do you have a design principle that you prioritize something to come first in your next launch? So I just want to know more about that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So just as I mentioned that all the tools or all the functionality are interconnected. So you can see very clearly from the user's feedback. Users will write Twitter message to us all the times. They will said, oh, add this, add that. And when you are looking at them, you will find the most interconnected functionality, and they are really, really fond of, and build it fast and test it. Because if you can build it very fast, then the selection is not a big problem. If you select wrong, you can build it another one, yeah.
Got it, thank you. One follow-up question. So how do you making sure people know this feature? For example, for someone just the first time using Genspark, how do you know they just familiar what Genspark can do?
Currently, we don't. So a lot of time, it may be pleasant surprise for our users.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, hi. I have a question for any of the people on the panel. Maybe not Tatiana, because I know your platform, but I mean, Kay mentioned, here's a big report, and I can guarantee you all the data is right. Now, we build agents all day long, and frankly, nobody can make that claim. We have text to SQL. The only way I'm going to believe anybody is saying they can make that claim is if show me that you ran this agent 1,000,000 times and it failed 0, then I know you're better than 1 ppm failure. Or show, writing Python code by agents, that's pretty trivial. Knowing that it's written the correct code and it's done it 1,000,000 times and it's 1 ppm failure, since we're talking about enterprise, so how do you prove that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So that's why in the product design, we actually show user the Jupyter Notebook. So basically, you know what the agent write. And you can glance through it, and you can see the code is correct. And the agent, for the agent, we actually have embedded preference for it to do the double check. So for example, if you ask Genspark to solve a kind of linear equation, it's kind of very, very complex. After doing the linear equation, Genspark will always do the double check. It will put all the solution into it and to see whether both sides are equal. So these are the way actually we think that currently the precision is pretty high. I think the good thing about agent is they can backtrack. A lot of time people are told me that, okay, every step is 90% and you have 10 steps that is the 90% power 10 and it's 0. In the agent, it's not the case. Because in the agent, if you do some step wrong, they are not independent. All the steps are not independent with each other. If you do some step wrong, you have the chance to correct them in the later step. So the overall accuracy is not that bad. Yeah, you can try it. Yeah, you
That's
can try it.
That's the problem, not that bad.
If you are talking about 100% of accuracy, you can basically just gaslighting the agent to say, okay, I think maybe you have something wrong. Do the double check for me, triple check for me. Agent will do it for you. And after some double check, you will have the confidence. You don't need to believe it in one shot. But since if you're using Genspark Super Agent, you can always ask follow-up questions alongside all the context is there. So if you are a little bit shaky about one part, you can just ask it to double check. If you use our AI sheet, if you select some of the cells, we actually pop up a button to say, okay, cross-check the data inside what you select for me. It will do a double check on the web. So I hope some of the combination of the product design and also the way that user use it can bring the user actual confidence to trust in the result of the agent.
Do you want to go first? I'll go. So we have one of the Mag 7 companies as one of our customers, so like one of the FANG companies. And I think they understood very early on why they need to have a third-party continuous monitoring tool, not just for what they're building internally, but also for what they're buying from outside. So for example, we are like the de facto guard railing solution for them for like their internal applications. And about 3 months ago, they came to us and said that, hey, we just bought these vendors and they claim that they have like, 0.01% hallucination rate. Can you do an independent assessment? So we helped them do that, and we found like, they have north of 3.3% hallucination rate. That's one thing. The type of hallucination that you have is another. Like it could be really grave, right? Very impactful to you negatively. So third-party independent continuous assessment is the ideal world as I would paint it.
Praneet offers this platform of synthetic data generation, a lot of model eval. I want to plug in another side of human touch into the back-end model, post-production, post-training, LLM side of things. In a very high complex, high mission-critical case, in those kind of case, we tend to have human in the loop. We call it human touch. And they would annotate the outcome because like with chess game or math, there's right or wrong answer. However, in a lot of business cases, there could be 1,000 right answer with how you handle a critical customer-related issue. There's not always right or wrong. In that case, there's a lot of human taste and preference to it. In those kind of high mission-critical cases, synthetic data cover a lot of cases. But in addition, right, annotation, human touch, that feedback loop, what we call the RL loop, that's what provides that accuracy, another guardrail for customers who really care about it.
From a founder's perspective, just a few words. I think we are all witnesses the shift from command to control to trust and verify. Because in the agent's nature is not just only act or execute or give you some answer. The agent's nature is think, trying to find the different ways, make double check, explore, research, and after that, execute. And I think the winner will be who will understand how we all loop from their data and make it not just only about give me some answer and I will verify it's true or not, but also about how we can explain and how we can train or how we can create a self-learning system who can understand what will be better for better outcomes using your answer. And it's whole from different industries, not just only the customer support, but also for programmers, creative minds, and others.
Okay, so in the interest of time, hopefully everyone learned something useful. And we're going to just wrap here, but if you want to come to our next event, here's the way to connect. We have linking here, we have our website, and we have the newsletter here. Newsletter, we will have the event recap. And if you want to see any of the speakers come back, just tag us on LinkedIn and shout out those speakers and tell us why you like them and come back. And last not least, we have very important task I have to do. So it's a group photo time. So can we have our speaker maybe stand here and we can take photo from this side? And everyone, if you want to just find a seat over here, that would be very helpful. So we can take photo from this side. Yeah. And